This is Jackie, and I am here with Repeat Day 2 Bonnaroo, hanging out, trying to keep cool as possible. But you just broke cardinal rule number 1: thou shalt not wear black. What are you thinking?
No. Well, the problem is it's part of my thing. It's part of the aesthetic. But I have thought about maybe just tearing these right here and making them little like, what are they called?
Capris. I have a pair of scissors. We can make this happen in like 10 minutes.
Man, well, I just bought these pair. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I think you might need to make the
Well,
sacrifice.
maybe we'll make it and we'll get some footage.
Bonnaroo's all about sacrifices.
I'm also from Phoenix, Arizona, and so this is like nothing. I think right now it's like 117 in Phoenix. So
yeah, but you guys have a dry heat. This is a little gross.
yeah, this is like a dry heat. This is like a dry heat plus a shower. So it's
a dry heave.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, you're so right. But you know what? What's keeping us cool is some beer. So we're doing all right.
Nice. That will always help.
Yes.
Y'all are from Nashville.
Yeah.
How do you stand out in a very music-saturated city?
That's a great question. You know, I don't think a lot of people intend to like
Stand out.
to stand out. But I think what happens is you do enough years where people are like, I don't get it, that they're like, this is different. You know what I mean? There's like a moment in your career where you go enough years where people are like, I don't get it, that they're like, whoa, this is different than all the other things that I do. And I think it's just like believing in yourself long enough to be like, okay, I'm not a freak. I think people will like this. And then you do it long enough and people are like, wow, you guys are so different. You don't sound like anything else. You know?
So yeah, you be weird, embrace the weird.
Yeah.
Be yourself, and that the rest will fall into place. Now, something else Nashville isn't really known for is like punk music.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of have like a little surfer rock vibe.
Yeah.
Maybe that helps you stand out a little bit too. Maybe that's what they're sort of getting. Where did that influence come from?
We both have West Coast roots. My family's all from Huntington and Long Beach, and Jared was born in California for a little while, and I don't know, I came into this scenario with a lot of like old music, like Mamas and the Papas and Beach Boys and Everly Brothers, really layery harmonies.
And I came into it with like a West Coast punk because I grew up in Phoenix, and so when I got to my rebellious phase in life, I decided I want to listen to like Pennywise and NoFX and things like that, and so I think I just matched that aggressive, like guitar-driven rock with her love of like big harmonies, and I think we just created something that was really special to us. You know, I think at the end of the day, the most important part of it is that you have to love what you're making. You know, and if you love what you're making, then even if nobody gets it, like you're still really proud of what you've done, and we're over the moon that more and more people start to like it. That's really, we didn't set out to do something that everybody would like. We set out to do something that we would like.
Yeah.
You know?
I dig that. And your latest release is Floral Canyon. How is that an evolution of sound from Bad Latitude?
Well, gosh, the whole way through, starting with the recording process, the first record, Bad Latitude, we did in 4 days in a friend's basement.
Yeah.
The second one, we really upped the production value.
Also, like from a songwriting perspective, the first record we did, it was when Kristen and I were dating and had just gotten engaged, and so that was like it was like my love record to Kristen. You know, every song is pretty much about us, and I was drawing from that kind of like, perception and that kind of like inspiration. But with Floral Canyon, I wanted to think more outside of myself and think more from like influences and whether it be sonically or just from things I observed that were not just me, because I felt like maybe more people would relate to it if it was something that if I saw it this way, maybe more people would see it this way. And so there's songs on there about difficult family relationships and personal relationships, and also like the struggle of like working a 9-to-5 and things like that. And I think maybe that's why people seem to take to it even more, because the first record we go back and listen to it sometimes and it's just this like googly,
like we may as well have been just writing letters to each other instead of putting
like
out an album.
It's like somebody put our love letters to music.
The second one we were writing letters to everyone else.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good message. So what's the one song off Floral Canyon that you'd want new listeners to listen to kind of get an overall sense of your vibe?
Gosh, I'm torn because I really love playing plugged in live because of the sort of just fast pace and
Yeah.
we sing together, like
Yeah.
harmonizing through the whole song. That's one of the only ones that we do. That one I love playing live, but I think as far as a really good kind of indication of our sound would probably be Girlfriend,
Yeah,
because
that's what I
it
was gonna
starts
say.
out sweet and
It's almost like, so
It
here's what
turns
I've been
crunchy.
realizing is like Girlfriend, which is our single, is a great indicator of our sound because it starts off with this like really sweet vocal harmony thing going on, and then it kicks in with some drums. It starts to get a little bigger, but then by the middle of the song, it just full on fuzz guitar like blasts you out, and it's almost like this homage to like 50s, 60s style like vocal music, and then it kicks in at the end with this like really heavy fuzz, and then it's the only song on our record that has a curse word on it, and we say fuck at the end, and I feel like that's like this little homage to like our punk rock side, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's this really pretty, cute song about relationships, but it still has to get like radio edited before it gets played on a station, which I think is like really fun and sweet and funny
which
in my
we weren't
mind.
trying to do. I think
No, we were,
fit.
because remember that originally the
Yeah,
chorus
but it
was, won't
fit.
you, it was be my fucking
Well,
girlfriend.
but we pulled those back.
Yeah.
There were more of them. We
There were a
dropped
lot more. We pulled
we
it back
dropped
on the
it
record.
to one,
Yeah.
but we left the one because we just felt like
We don't need to
it
overdo it.
fit the sentiment
Right.
of the song. So yeah.
So you mentioned editing for radio. What role do you see music streaming sites like Spotify having in 2018?
A ton, and I actually am all for it. You can consider me in, because if you think of it this way, when I was growing up and listening to music, I listened to West Coast punk rock. So when I had enough money to buy another record, which was $20, $25 to buy a CD or a vinyl at the time, I was going to buy another punk rock record because that's all I could afford. And nowadays, if you listen to West Coast punk rock and somebody says, hey, you should check out Childish Gambino, or you should check out Lana Del Rey, or you should check out Cage the Elephant, all you have to do is like pull up your phone and listen to it, and I'm all for that, because I think even more than making a living as an artist, which I think is very important, but I also think that like making a living is something that's like a fluid thing, and kind of evolves. It's like what do you actually need to make a living? But I think even more than further than that, I think the idea of music discovery is a really important thing, because I think you look at the next generation and they're open to listening to hip hop, and then right after hip hop they're listening to EDM, and then they're listening to indie rock. I mean, I saw kids going from Ron Gallo to Calliope to go do the EDM stuff, and I think that's a beautiful thing that the next generation is so open to listening to all different kinds of genres,
Well said. What role do you see music videos having when we don't have a station that we used to turn into to kind of get tuned into the new stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. We still make them
Yeah.
as though there is still a station to air them. So
I like them, and I also heard that in a lot of other places in the world, they don't have things like Spotify and iTunes yet, so YouTube is where a lot of people go to find new music. And it's surprising that we get people from all different countries that will comment on our music videos and be like, I
Yeah.
found you guys here and I love it, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm still a big fan of music videos, because I think as long as there's other places in the world that don't have the access that we do to music, that, we want to give them what they can have. But for us too, it's like a way to express ourselves in a different way than just musically.
yeah, I don't see us not doing videos in
Yeah.
the span of our music career. It's just like a different part of it.
Yeah.
Like that. And so obviously we're here to catch live music. What are some sets you're excited to see here at Bonnaroo?
Oh gosh,
Well-
we caught our friend Arlamar last night.
Yeah, and that was awesome.
Watching him get huge has been amazing.
And Ron Gallo, we have mutual friends, and so that was really cool. But I will say too, we're Manchester Orchestra is playing tonight. We've seen them several times,
Yeah.
and we just saw them in Atlanta, their hometown, and it was incredible. Like, it started raining right towards the end of their set, and it was like this beautiful thing. And so I'm sure their set tonight is going to be insane.
So do you prefer live outdoor venues like this, or do you prefer a more intimate club gig indoors?
Well,
Gosh, they're so
performing or seeing?
Performing, because there's definitely a difference when you're seeing.
Yeah. Well, what would you say?
It's hard to beat a festival play because everyone is so ready to hear music and full of love and excitement. So
Yeah.
it's hard to beat that. But club dates give us, I think, the opportunity to get a little bit more intimate with our fans and a little bit closer
Yeah.
and tailor the set a little bit. It's just
Yeah.
They each allow for different types of shows.
I think when you play a festival date, you're playing to some people that are there to see you and some people that are just there. And I think that creates a whole different list of challenges in a good way as a band that you know are presented to us. When you play a club date, it's ticketed and you know people are there probably just to see you. So it's an easier crowd to win over. And I think that with festivals, I like the idea of having a challenge where I have to, you know, win some people over that maybe are just coming from one tent to the next, you know? So
Good opportunity. What's up next for you guys after Bonnaroo?
Gosh, we leave for a 6-week tour. I think 36 hours after Bonnaroo ends.
Yep, we go.
Party's over.
Party's over. We go all over the country, including Canada, which is not part of the country. We go to another country called Canada, and then we get back from that 6-week-long tour, and then we're in the studio for 2 weeks working on our next record.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We'll stay tuned for much more from Repeat. This is Jackie. Thanks to Chorus FM and In the Key of Change.